So I watch a YouTube channel called Outdoor Boys. It's like a lawyer dad, has kids. He always does outdoor stuff. And he would build literal shelters like this in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
In Alaska.
So you think it's something
Probably
like that,
him.
Jen?
It's probably that guy. What's his name?
That's why I asked Sanaz if this is like walking distance. If it's not walking, they give the helicopter
It's not
drops.
walking distance. It's Antarctica. So yeah.
I don't know, Brian. Do you know exactly where that's at?
Yeah, I do.
Do you? What is it?
That's on the pole, Bubba. That's
No, anywhere it's at is
the
in
Arctic, and then
Antarctica.
So
there's
even at the
Antarctica.
borders of Antarctica,
It's tough. Yeah, it's like
the Arctic and Antarctica. So look it up on a map, on a global map, and you'll see.
Antarctica on a map.
Now,
Yeah,
is
it's
the
not where
Antarctica,
we
by
can
the way,
chill.
is Antarctica, here's a trivia question. Is Antarctica the South Pole or the North Pole?
south. Did you say
Anybody else?
which one did you say though?
Is Antarctica
Oh, you're saying where Santa lives.
or the Arctic?
You can reach Antarctica by foot,
I don't
so that's the
think this is
thing.
walking distance.
Yes, you can visit. Come on, Brian.
And I didn't say you couldn't walk.
You said
on
you couldn't reach it.
No, you can reach it, but you
It says you have to book airfare, departure, port. Won't even try to say it. Or
You guys
Buenos
do your
Aires in
thing.
Argentina, since most expeditions leave from there. You won't need a visa, but you need to get permission.
Look
So you
up
can reach
wildlife-
it by foot, is what I'm
Look
saying.
up wildlife on Antarctica.
Polar bears, penguins.
Okay.
Wildlife in our.
Glad you
It's
said
polar
that.
bears, penguins,
Okay. Or
nothing.
Watch this. Penguins.
Seals, whales,
A lot of penguins.
Yeah.
orcas. Are there no
but
or
do you
polar bears
notice-
are south?
But do you
South
notice?
Pole,
do you
right?
notice how there are no
Black bears?
polar bears?
Yeah, polar bears are only in the South Arctic, right?
They're in the Arctic. That's Antarctica. Bring up the difference
Are you
between
saying
the
Pam
Arctic.
or Pan?
Bring up the difference between Arctic and Antarctica.
It's a tough one, right?
It's just important to know.
It's super important, you know.
You know, these are things that we should all know.
Well, I got to regurgitate.
Why do
this.
we need to know this, Brian?
I got to regurgitate this to my kids.
There are polar regions with many differences, right? The Arctic is an ocean basin surrounded by land, while Antarctica is a continent surrounded by ocean. Right?
So now that we know that, how does that help our lives
I'm
in the
sorry.
future?
Well,
Us
Jim,
in
you should
general.
know a
Us in
couple
general.
things about the world.
Yeah.
it's just-
I probably know way more stuff about other stuff than you do, and you know way more stuff about other stuff than I do.
But you have an aggressive block to anything
To
historical
geography.
or
Yeah.
geography.
No.
And that's not a good idea.
No, I memorized it, but then I filled in my brain with other stuff, and then it's
more important
scooted
stuff.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. Temperatures in the Arctic can vary, all right, but it's not unusual for it to be over 50 degrees during the warmest month. That's news. In Antarctica, the temperature can easily drop below minus 67. The lowest temperature on Earth was recorded there, minus 128.
Oh.
Check, please. But those penguins bear down, don't
Yeah.
they? They huddle up.
Now, I believe they're on opposite sides of the globe.
They are. It's like this, right?
Yeah.
It's like this.
Yeah.
Santa lives
Yes.
here.
Ant.
Yes.
And.
Polar bears live here.
Yeah.
Santa doesn't get eaten by polar bears, so he's up here. That's how you remember it.
Yep.
Polar bears are down here.
Yep.
Then why do they show polar bears at the North Pole?
Because polar
They also
bears
show 'em
are
drinking
because
Coca-Cola.
polar bears are
They
in
love that.
because polar bears are in the Arctic.
Yes, Arctic.
And the Arctic would
And they
be the
look
North
similar.
Pole, and Antarctica is the South Pole. Make sure I'm right about that.
I think we all learned something here today.
Where's,
Sure, I'm right.
where's the North Pole?
The North Pole is the Arctic, and the Antarctic, and the South Pole is Antarctica. Watch this. Let's see if I'm right.
The Arctic and Antarctica are located in North and South poles.
Okay,
Located in northern hemisphere. The Arctic is center
Is
of
the
the
North
North Pole.
Okay.
So the Arctic has the
And
North
the
Pole where
Antarctica
Santa
is the
lives.
South Pole, as I said.
So
And it's
Santa
important to know that.
Santa lives in the Arctic.
Why is it important?
The amount of
Why is it
knowledge
important to
Brian
know-
Hold on, Brian, let me ask you this.
Why is it important to know where
wait.
Australia
This-
is?
no, this specific
Why is it
thing.
important to know where Africa is? It's the same thing.
Here's what I'm asking you guys. You guys have kids, right?
Yeah.
Would you rather have your kids know to be a hard worker, good singer, musician, whatever, or
gig.
know these things?
That's not no. That's both. It's called both. It's
Yeah,
called
both.
being
That's
educated.
great, but if you
Brian.
had to choose.
No, I don't.
No, I have to choose.
I don't have to choose.
No, you can have a
that's my
well-rounded
point.
And
kid.
you don't either.
My point is like,
No,
why
my
is
point
it so
is my
important?
point is
Well,
that
you
is
could do
not
both,
at all.
kid.
My
You
point
can,
is
yeah, but
you
what's-
should know why it's important to know the difference. That's what I'm saying. Nobody
Here we
told
go.
you why it's important.
I've
And it's
been to
very
Australia.
important.
It's amazing. Do I have to know it's
Yeah,
not
you
in
do.
Europe? Like what?
Yes,
why?
you
Why
do.
do I give a fuck?
You do.
Why?
Because it has relevance
Give me
to
a
the
reason
world.
why. Give me a
Because
reason
if you're a
why.
low
Don't be
information
stupid.
person,
It's not
you will
about stupid, Brent.
If you're a
It's-
low
you-
information person, you'll be ignorant, and you'll be part of the problem. Not
Do you
part
think
of
I'm
the
a low
solution.
information, ignorant person?
I do.
Oh wow.
To your
really?
own. But you just admitted
Ignorant,
it.
a bit ignorant.
No,
No,
I'm
no,
saying-
hold on, because I don't know the location or the.
But wait, Chin,
hemisphere or
Chin,
something.
you've just admitted. You just said, why do I need to know this? Why do you need to know where the Arctic and Antarctica, that the North and the South
Why
Pole
do
are
I?
at?
Same thing
The
happened
same
in Germany.
reason you should
Go,
know
Nazis.
why Africa is a continent, or why
Chin knows that.
So okay, why is Africa a continent?
why is Africa a continent?
Yeah,
well,
tell me.
because it stands on its own.
Okay, so then what?
But Asia would be a continent too that's actually attached to
What?
Europe.
Okay, so why do you need to know that though? Oh, dude, but Brian, this is stuff that we learned in
because
fucking elementary school,
for the
high
same
school.
reason you want to know, for example, why 1 times 1 is equal to 1. In other words, there are certain base understandings about the world that
Knowledge.
give you perspective, and
That's
otherwise
great, Brian.
you'll be
if I was like
otherwise.
super into like geography and all that stuff,
You-
then I get
you
it.
say
Nobody's
you
telling
need
you to
that.
be super into geography. I'm not super into geography. There are certain
know
things you
Africa.
should know about. That's all I'm
Okay,
saying.
fine.
Give him a musical note.
Yeah, exactly. So on those, the guitar has 6 strings. What are all those notes?
Brian might know that.
What are-
A B C
In order from top to bottom.
G
There's a
From top
G.
to bottom.
F.
Is there an F or
You don't know. So you know what? You suck.
But-
you
but
should
wait,
know
wait,
more
oh,
about
no, no,
music.
that's not true.
Music
Brian.
history is
No,
important.
hold on,
Call
hold
him
on,
ignorant,
hold
Jim.
on, hold on. I'm
me
aware.
ignorant.
I'm
Stop
aware
it,
of
Brendan.
what that is, and I'm aware of why that's.
I was in
important.
Australia with Brendan.
Wait, hold on.
We
Hold on.
actually.
Hold on.
Jim's
Watch
aware
this.
of Africa,
Jim, watch
though.
this. Jim, watch this. I'm very aware, though, of why music is important.
Why?
Historically. Why music is important culturally. Why music is important as a form of expression.
you don't know the
and
details of
the
the
reason I
music, it's
know why
different.
it's important is because it informs out my life and makes my life more rich.
Hey, by the way.
So wait, hold on.
Go ahead, finish.
I also know enough to know what I don't know and why that's a liability. So for example, let me give you an example. I think it's important in life to know why, for example, Led Zeppelin is astonishing as a group, and I don't know.
You know they copied a lot of their music, right? They,
Whatever the
yeah,
case,
Okay.
that's also important.
Did you know that?
It's also I do. That's also important. They copied a lot
They're
of the
not
blues.
astonishing anymore.
They copied a lot of the blues people that they
They
looked
literally
up to.
stole songs from other
But
artists.
that's also important to know.
issue,
You didn't know that, dude.
I
Brian's
did know
ignorant.
that. Of course.
Then
I
why
know
are they
that.
astonishing artists if they stole music?
They stole some of the riffs, but made them actually pretty
no,
amazing.
it's almost identical. You want to do this? Let's do it.
I've done it. I know exactly
Okay.
what you're talking about. Led Zeppelin's still an astonishing band that wrote original music. So so what I'm saying is that I'm using them just as an
Yeah, you can
example
insert
of
any
saying
band.
I know that Pavarotti was an amazing singer. okay?
Pavarotti.
He was an amazing
You're
singer,
ignorant.
Okay.
and I know where he stands in the pantheon of opera singers. And the reason I know that he was able to hit that tenor note in Nessun Dorma, and the reason it wasn't sung at the Met for 8 years was because nobody else could do that. You know why I know
It's a
that?
flex,
because
Jen.
it's
I wanna hear that note.
Because it's
I'm gonna look it up, the
culturally-
note.
It's
See if I can hit
culturally,
it.
but it's culturally significant. Like it makes my life more rich that I know the meaningful difference between things. And all I'm saying is that don't say, why do I need to know this? The reason you need to know this is because it makes you less
I don't
ignorant.
need to. I
The
don't
reason-
need it. It's not benefiting my life
no,
where I
it
need
will
it.
make your life more rich.
Of course, if I'm interested in it, I'll fucking learn more, but I don't need it.
But that's like saying you don't need to learn another language.
I want to learn other languages. Yeah, I don't need it, but I would rather do that.
We lost Brendan.
I'd rather do that
I
than
need
look
more
at,
hair, I'll
look
tell you
at
that
freaking
much.
continents
Look at
and
that
like, what the fuck?
No,
Brendan,
but
come
that's,
back
but
to
Chin, that's basic education. You
Hold
should.
on. Those are Dorma?
First of all, it's really easy. Chin, yeah.
Nope.
First of all, Finn, it's really easy also to fill in those gaps. Super easy. Like you just learned it.
Brian,
You just learned. Where's
so
the
what do you
North
think I'm
Pole?
doing right
What's
now?
the North Pole? What is it? It's the
North
Arctic.
Pole.
It's
Where
the Arctic.
Santa
It's the
lives,
Arctic.
Brian.
What's the South Pole?
Snowman.
It's
I'm
I'm gonna
Antarctica.
pee
You
while you
just
guys are
learned it.
arguing about the North Pole.
You just learned it.
Yeah,
And they're both
okay, so
ice
Brian,
caps.
how does
You're
that?
ignorant, Chen.
You're
Is
stirring
this like
the pot.
super bad fucking content? I don't
No,
know
it's
if
important because it's actually really important because a lot of people feel the way you do. Why is it important
No,
to know?
Brian,
Why is it
I'm not- I
important to
don't-
know?
I'm not saying, like,
who
it's not
Mao
good to-
Zedong
Hold on,
or
Brian.
Stalin were. Why is it important? You know why? Because it actually has to do with where we are today. So if you want to know why you're standing where you are and where you come from, if you want to know who got you here, that's an important consideration.
You're going way too deep with this. I don't need to know a fucking continent.
Yeah, you
Like,
do.
why?
that question is an ignorant question.
Hold on, Brent.
It
Oh,
just
sorry,
is.
Brian. I've learned
Why should
that.
I learn about music?
No, I've learned that when I was in grade school, right? And it just kind of like escaped me.
Watch this. Okay.
I learned a ton of
you,
other
You know
shit.
a lot about music. Watch this. I'm going to come to you and I'm going to say this. Chin, I'm going to go like this. Who's your favorite country music star?
Tim McGraw.
Who's the guy with talent that blows your mind? Tim McGraw?
A ton, dude.
But just give me one person for fuck's sake.
Fucking Chris Stapleton.
Okay, so Chris Stapleton.
Yeah.
If I came to you and said that this Joe Schmo guy and I played you a song, I can't think of anybody who sucks. Give me somebody who sucks.
I don't want to say that, dude.
Or just give me somebody
That's
who's just
fucked
not
up.
that impressive. Give me somebody who's really,
So,
really
who I'm not that into,
Yeah.
who's huge and amazing, is
Yeah.
Luke Bryan, but I'm just not into it.
Yeah, but I don't want to use him as an example because he's still talented. But there are certain people, if I came to you and I said, this guy's more talented than Chris Stapleton, and I stuck to my guns, and you would go, you're fucking ignorant. And you know why I'd say that? Because you'd be right, because I don't know what I'm talking about. And that's important.
No, I would never say that because you don't
You
follow
might not
country
say
music.
it, but you'd think it. You'd think it.
You're not thinking about, Brian. This is a dumb argument.
It's not a dumb argument at all. You're telling me, why should I know what continents are?
No.
You
Okay,
shouldn't.
I should have worded it better. It's like I don't need to know that stuff because that's
not a priority for
Yeah,
Jen.
I have other things in my life that's going on that I
making
focus
beautiful
on.
music,
no
Brian.
shit, but being educated in general about the world's a good idea.
So you have to learn every single thing that's happened ever. From
It'd
the
be
moment
nice
time.
if you knew what
I
Africa
never
was.
said that. I said, but it's very easy to plug in certain holes, which I do all the time, and you should too. I do it all the time. There's certain things I don't know that are embarrassing that I should know.
But by the way, when I don't know, I just say I don't know. I don't like try to.
Nobody's
like, ooh.
shaming you. What I don't like is when you say, I don't need to know that. What's the point? And I'm telling you what the fuck the point is. The point is,
So
if you
I think,
don't
Brian,
and you say that, that's an ignorant thing to say.
What you're doing is that you're going way too deep into it. To me,
No,
it's
I'm
like,
not.
Okay, Brian.
The problem
let me
with
ask you
our
this. Okay, fine.
election, the
Hold on,
problem
hold
with
on.
our country is most people are low information voters.
I'm not
and
voting.
we vote in idiots. That's
Yep.
the problem.
Anyway,
Shannon.
Brian,
And it
right now,
affects
right
our
now.
lives.
Let me ask you this right now,
2024.
right now. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
This is a podcast that's very important to you, right?
Yeah.
Right.
somewhat.
And what stuff is around this
Thinking shit.
podcast that has to make this stuff happen? Audio, software,
Boom.
cameras,
Engineering.
lenses.
Boom.
Do you know anything about these?
No,
things?
no.
Then shut the fuck up. Yeah, this is your thing.
Yeah,
No,
shut the
no,
fuck up.
no, Chin.
As Chin
You're,
says,
you're,
I'm sorry.
Chin, but you're missing my
Shut the
point,
fuck
Chin.
up.
No, you
You're
should-
missing
this
my
is what
point.
this is your
You're
livelihood,
going,
and you don't know
why
these
should I know
things.
this? I know about cameras. No, dude,
That's your
you could-
livelihood.
you should also know why it's important to know a little bit about, I don't know,
incredibly
geography,
World War
history.
II.
I think this went a
those
little too far. I'm sorry, Brian. I did not. Need to
But
say
Chin,
you
it's
did.
important
No,
to know.
we'll make it about
it's
you.
important to know, to accept that there are certain things you should know, basic information about everything.
I
if
do
you
know basic
don't-
information. I went to Australia with Brendan. We discovered so many different areas, met people. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but so
it's
what do you?
amazing.
So what are you
Worldly
arguing?
travel.
Do I have to know it's in this particular area of
It'd
this?
be nice.
Like, why?
It'd be nice to know where you're at.
Why?
No, why is that so important,
You keep
Brendan?
asking me why, and I'm telling you why. And you won't listen to the reason.
heard.
Go
You're
listen.
asking me why, and I've told you why, but you keep saying, why should I know this?
Why?
And
For
bringing
me.
up things like, you
For
don't
me.
know about cameras. And I'm like, okay.
Why don't you
just
know about
ask me
cameras?
why. And if you would listen,
So why
I'm
don't you
trying
know
to
about cameras?
explain. Because it will make your life more, it'll enrich your life. You'll see things you haven't seen before. It'll make you less blind
Less
to the
racist,
world.
Chin.
It'll make you
I saw
less,
this when I was a kid.
Chin.
Less
It'll
racist.
make you, when you educate yourself, and I do this all the time for myself, all it is this. I'll close
for it.
with
Do your
this.
thing, man.
The
Close it
reason
so I
I
get
try
the
to educate
fuck
myself
outta
on
here.
things like, I don't know, history,
does it go?
is it gives me a little bit of a light in a dark room. It gives me a flashlight in a dark room because
That's
most of the
great.
world is, that's all it is. And I'm very blind and I don't know a lot, but I know I don't know a lot. And what's fun is just to kind of give myself a flashlight and look in a couple rooms. Never stop doing that. That's all
Okay.
I'm saying.
That's great.
And all of us know a lot less than we do know, right? Like all of us are ignorant. All of us. But I think it'll help you'll enjoy knowing things.
If I'm interested in
It
something,
enhances
Brian, I
all
always
of
learn.
Chin's endeavors.
Yeah.
What is?
It enhances everything.
It enhances
All right. You know what? You're
That's
right,
all.
Brian.